Yeah, I got a lot of fun facts.
Yeah, me too.
I got a lot of Oscars fun facts.
Two classy dudes, cigars, and movies. This is the Hollywood Humidor with Chris Matthews and Steve Koonce.
My name is Chris Matthews.
We haven't started yet, have we?
Yeah, we're started.
This is the start?
This is how
Are
that
you
goes.
kidding me?
Yeah, you just get into it. You just ease into it. It's just like It's almost like when they show up at the podcast, it's like they've already joined a conversation in progress.
Oh, you want to do it like that?
I mean, you don't have to.
Like Smartless.
I mean, okay. Mark Maron. No, wait. Yeah, Mark Maron when he talks to the.
Does he still have a podcast?
I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Okay. We can do it like that.
Okay.
Or are we doing it like that?
Yes, we're already doing that.
Oh, well, my name is Steve Koonce.
Now, I want to paint the picture.
Uh-huh.
Of
you
don't
have to. There's video.
Of what's happening. We are in your backyard. Mm-hmm. On your patio, which is on a golf course.
Yeah, for now.
In beautiful Eagle, Idaho.
Yep.
Your two dogs are roaming wild and free in this backyard.
They can't be stopped.
One of which is a good boy. Larry is just the goodest boy that there ever was. Murphy, on the other hand.
You're on Team Larry. Okay. That makes sense.
Murphy, on the other hand.
What's wrong with Murphy?
Is just a wild card.
He's a wild card. He plays by his own rules.
He's a rogue?
He's a rogue. He plays by his own rules, and he doesn't care what you think.
He does
Except
not.
for when it comes to like being fed or getting treats.
No, he'll do what it needs. He'll jump through whatever hoops.
Yeah. He does what needs to be done.
So there is going to be a point in time over the course of this podcast where Murphy makes himself known. And that's just fine. That's gonna be fine.
1,000%.
There's just no avoiding that.
Yeah, no, that's gonna happen.
We are professional only to the point up until when the dog barks.
He'll need to be let in or let out or whatever it is.
Yeah,
he'll do something.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
So just know that's coming.
Well, I mean, we could put him inside, and then he could make himself known from in there.
That's true. That's true. It's unavoidable. Right. It's unavoidable.
So the reason why are we outside is a question someone might want to ask.
We're outside because the Hollywood Humidor is a podcast. It's brand new, soon to take over the country. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Look out, Will Arnett, Joe Rogan.
I don't want that noise.
But this is a podcast about cigars and movies. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we sit on your patio and we smoke a tasty cigar.
It might be your patio also.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My patio.
We can go to any patio. Yeah. But yeah, right now it is that. We sit on the patio, we smoke a tasty cigar, and we talk about movies. We
are filming this for, we're filming it. Are we filming it?
This is on 16. We're doing it on 16.
So there is because we're with it.
All right,
we're with the technology.
The technology is coming along, I think. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like 100% right now. We're using a Microsoft webcam, I would call it.
It looks like the very first webcam.
It was one of the first ones. It says 003 on the back. And then we have a circle light there that's giving us no light at all.
No, not well, it's also 3:30 on a Friday. Yeah, so, we have ample daylight.
We do have some good daylight.
Which is good. I have no idea how this is going to look. I know it's going to sound like gangbusters.
It'll sound great.
Yeah, this is going to sound great.
The sound part of it is all good. It's the video part. This is We're trying things out here on the Like Button podcast network. We're doing a lot of different things, and video is one of those things that it's a lot easier to do when we're on a Zoom call, for instance, or something like that.
Yeah.
So this is sort of the second, maybe third time I've tried to do it in a live instance like this, and I think it's so far so good, is what I think.
If nothing else, we were going to get better at this. So this is the very first Hollywood Humidor podcast, and it's only downhill, uphill.
Could go both ways.
It's only going somewhere from here.
Yeah, it'll go uphill and then downhill, and then it'll go uphill again. Much like the dogs need to be let in and then out, and then out and in again. Yeah.
There's one more thing I need to get out up front is that I've known you since September of 2001. Never forget. And I have never once maybe in September of 2001 did I call you Steve or Steve Koonce.
That's true.
I call you Beardy because you had a beard.
That's fine.
And I'm nothing if not clever.
Right. Yeah, you really nailed it on that one.
So I'm probably I don't know if I'm gonna have to call you Steve.
I got a Facebook message from an old friend of ours the other day who said, and I quote, "That's cool that the Beardy thing is still happening."
It's still happening. You know what? I commit. When
not just you.
Me and George W. Bush, when we nickname people,
George W. Bush was there when you nicknamed me Beardy.
He was there.
He was there.
He was definitely there.
So yeah, okay. So we'll be Chris Matthews and the Beard or Beardy.
Yeah.
And that's maybe just the way it'll be.
Maybe that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's fine.
We've also called ourselves Peppy and Zeke.
Yep.
Before,
Yep.
so just hang on because we'll you'll catch up. You'll figure it out.
We've known each other for a while, so we know. So we have a lot of nicknames and a lot of bon mots that are going to be between us. There might also be inside jokes and stuff like that people aren't going to understand, and that's fine.
That's fine because
okay
you know what, you'll catch on. You know, and just pretend like, just laugh along with us.
That's your problem.
Just
really.
laugh along with us. What do you want to reveal? What tasty cigar you're enjoying?
I'm having a hard time with it. Yeah, this is called Honor Among Thieves, and I don't remember where I got it, and it tastes okay.
Great ringing endorsement. I got this downtown. What's that?
They're not. No one's fucking paying me for this.
That's true.
So
what's that place?
Hi, Honor Among Thieves. You just got a free endorsement from a guy with a podcast. Enjoy.
What's that place next to the Repop? Do you know that cigar? You don't know that cigar store.
Repop.
Yeah, Repop downtown, Boise.
Oh yeah, is that Sturman Cigars? That's Ryan's.
Is that Sturman's?
Yeah, it's Ryan's downtown place. Yeah.
Oh, that's his downtown place? Yeah, that's where I went.
Ryan's a good dude, by the way. Shout out Sturman's.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Vault too.
We will straight up shout out anybody that wants to give us free cigars in any way, shape, or form. We
even
are for
house
sale.
us, or just let us hang out at your cigar store.
100%. We're going to talk about
from there.
We're going to talk about everybody till we get exclusive rights. But this is a Pledge Apogee. I like it.
Padron,
I had this.
Is it Padron?
I don't know what it is.
it's a
This one
pledge.
here. It's a pledge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what I said. It's a pledge.
Sorry. And it looks like you got like a Maduro wrapper sort of thing going.
It's
you have a box cut as well. Both have box cuts. That's weird.
It's a rectangle.
Nice. How do you like
good.
it? Is it good?
I do like it. I do like it. I liked it when we had it at the Sturmans a little bit ago. I like it now on your patio. And that I think this concludes the cigar portion of the podcast.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. Gas station food can be hit or miss, right? Not at Treasure Valley Chevron, TVC at Beacon Light and Highway 55, and I-84 at Gowan Road has all the snacks you need for a long road trip or just for the drive home. Jerky, candy, chips, sandwiches, cheese sticks, corn dogs. If you're craving it, TVC has it. Right now, get a free soda when you purchase a food boat at either TVC location. Want to win a box of jerky? Of course you do. Email the latest snack find at TVC to idahoboozepod@gmail.com and get a free box of beef jerky from Treasure Valley Chevron.
Every podcast that we do with whatever frequency that we can be bothered to put these things out is going to have sort of like a different theme, a different focus, and we kicked a lot of. We're nothing if not an idea factory. A factory of ideas.
Yeah, a veritable what's what of ideas.
Without question. Executing them is to be seen, whether or not we have the skill set in order to effectively execute said ideas. But the idea today,
I never thought of it like that. Yeah, maybe.
The theme today, we're covering because we do a real we're real Oscars kind of nerds.
Yeah, it's more you I think than me, but yeah, we do both.
You're just a movie. You're a movie.
I'm more
nerd.
of a movie guy. Yeah, so you're kind of the nerd about it, and I'm kind of just like a film nerd.
Yes.
So I'm overall like really into like the aesthetic and how things are built. I have a degree in it.
You do, and you have a vocabulary and like a background in knowing like what.
I used to have a vocabulary. Yeah, I have background in it. I've been a film buff for as long as I can remember, and the thing that's nice about you is that you're really good at winning the Oscar trivia.
Yes. Yeah.
Every year almost, I think.
Except for this year, I didn't get it this year.
Didn't
she got me.
I know. You know what? It's my fault. I was correcting her paper. I should have. I should have done something about it.
Thrown it.
I didn't say something. I didn't see something say something.
Well, it's all right. I don't want to win through nefarious means. So next year, I'm back with a vengeance.
I've won through nefarious and various, and they both feel the same.
Do you? So to prove your bona fides regarding your film geekery, do you know in fact, what a key grip is and does.
Yeah. Key grip is a very important part of the production. A key grip basically tells the other grips what to do per whether they're supposed to be putting down tape or grabbing C-stands or doing whatever it is behind the scenes. Also, it's a union job. Ooh. So it's a really nice gig being a key grip because you have worked your way up from grip and second grip. And now instead of like pulling focus, you're actually just telling people to go put tape down and stuff like that. So
what about the best boy? Is that a better
best
job?
Best boy is a lighting person, okay. I believe. And I believe that person, the best boy, is in charge of keeping all the light riggings going and whatever that entails. I'm not sure what their job is on set per se, but I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, you can write in to an email that we have not put together yet.
We've not yet, no. I think that proves that you know what you're talking about regarding film and filmmaking. And that's
I could go on and on about the best boy.
It's time for a message from stamps.com.
Oh, did we get stamps?
Stamps.com
I thought it was
/ WTF. Uh-huh. Use that promo code, and Mark Maron gets a cut of that. So
I was pretty sure Man Great was sponsoring this one.
Oh, all right.
Are they not sponsoring this one? All right. Fine, Man Great. Hey, you've played your hand. Now it's my turn. I hope you're watching, Man Great.
So the theme, the subject matter, the topic of our conversation.
Every show we're going to kind of delve into something weird, right?
Yeah.
So we're not just going to come on here and tell you Captain America 4 was awesome. I did see it the other night. It was awesome.
Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk.
So the whole purpose of us talking about Captain America 4 is that we're not going to be talking about Captain America 4. We're going to be delving into certain things. There will be no shortage of gimmicks with this show because that's what I like. I like gimmicks.
Yeah, dude, we're kitschy.
Yeah, we're kitschy. So we're going to be doing things like we're doing today. And what we're doing today is, Chris,
listening to Murphy bark in the background.
Oh, man.
We are doing.
To be fair, there is a dog across the golf course from him.
We are recapping, sharing thoughts about after doing a little bit of research on this, the Oscars of 1995, but recapping the 1994 theatrical films that were released and those that were honored at the 70-something Academy Awards.
Yeah,
in
I think it was 67th.
Whatever. I didn't write that one down. I wrote everything
else
down.
This is a really key year for both our friendship and for many other long lost friendships of mine because this year is the 1994 movies. 1994 was a huge year pop culturally anyway.
Yes.
So go ahead. You have some things on that, right?
So the following movies came out in 1994, many of them in theaters at the same time, and I did not even write down Jurassic Park because it didn't really make
it was 93. Was it 93 or 94?
I think it was 94, but Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Ed Wood, Bullets Over Broadway, Lion King, Speed, Quiz Show, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Interview with the Vampire, and let's not forget, Junior.
I almost forgot.
Cinematic achievement, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger being pregnant.
Giving birth out of his butthole.
Is that how it worked? I didn't make it to the end of Junior.
I haven't seen Junior. It's part of my Arnold lexicon that is not full. I'm not a completist.
Last Action Hero?
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah.
That was on HBO a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, that one.
So you have that one on your Jim Koonce filmed that recorded it on the VHS.
I think we actually might have had HBO by the time that came on. But yeah, so that is Junior came out. That was also the year that we saw some other like kind of fun movies that came out as well, like Red from Pyotr Stroinsky or whatever the guy's name is. That was a conclusion to his trilogy, Red, White, and Blue, which was a series of films about the French Industrial Revolution.
These I did not
I remember when we became friends when we were both 21, you're like, dude, why don't I come over, we'll play some SOCOM, and then we'll watch White. We'll just White. And then the next 3 weeks, we'll watch Red, White, and Blue, and we'll do all those movies.
These ones I don't know, but you have thoughts that will be shared a little later on as we get through this. So Oscars 1995 pulled in 48 million viewers. To give you context on that, the Oscars from 2025 pulled in 19.6 million viewers, which is just about the same as the Game of Thrones finale, but a little short of the Super Bowl from 2025 that pulled in 127 million viewers. But in 1994, I believe 48 million viewers, pretty big deal. Like that, like it was a well watched.
This was because of all the movies involved. So this year, so if you took all the movies combined from this year and put together their box office receipts from 2025, you would not get how many times I went and saw Jurassic Park in the theater.
I saw Forrest Gump a couple times.
Of course you did.
I did not see Pulp Fiction in the theater.
Oh, I didn't either. Well, we were 15.
Yeah, we were a bit young.
So, I mean, or 14, whatever, 14 or 15. I think 15 thereabouts. So, yeah, I mean, this was a really awesome year for movies, 94. It was an amazing, you just named off a bunch of them. It's just not only were they all like really good, but they were critically good. They weren't just like good movies to go see, and I'm sure there were a lot of those as well, but these were movies that were like really, really pop culturally significant to the next 20 years of film.
Very influential, very much on TNT.
Oh yeah.
From 96 to the mid 2000s. I don't know. I haven't watched TNT like leisurely in a while, but I'm sure
I don't think I've
sure they've been
ever
replaced
seen
with Fast and
Shawshank
Furious.
Redemption with the swearing on. It's still great.
It's still great. Still holds up. The 1995 Oscars were the David Letterman Oscars.
That I forgot. Which is significant because I was a Letterman guy.
Yes,
and that I totally forgot. I remember and I should have not forgotten it because of the Oprah Uma thing.
Oprah.
Uma. I thought it was hilarious.
Oprah.
I was laughing. I thought it was great.
What stood out to me though,
I like onomatopoeias though. That's just the way I am. That's the way I was raised. I'm not gonna shy away from that.
Meow.
Yeah, meow.
I remembered the whole. They did a whole bit on like a bunch of celebrities auditioning to be in Cabin Boy because that was David Letterman also appeared as a he made his theatrical debut in Cabin Boy saying, "What? Would you like to buy a monkey?
Would you like to buy a monkey?"
And so they did a whole bit on various other comedians and celebrities auditioning for that role.
Yeah.
Saying dramatically, "Would you like to buy a monkey?" I'm sure that's on YouTube.
Oh, definitely.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely on YouTube. And Letterman, 1994, this would have been maybe the first or second year after he jumped ship from NBC to go to CBS. So it was a big time for Letterman. Letterman was huge. He was at this time beating Jay Leno in the ratings. It would not last for that.
It would not last.
Longer
Hugh Grant,
because of you people in the Midwest. Good Lord,
you people.
Yeah, that's right. I said it. And Letterman better than Leno. I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
I think everyone agrees that David Letterman is only the best.
People loved Leno back then. It was very weird.
Well, people hated Letterman on this Oscars. And in fact, People Magazine, not People in general, although perhaps, but People Magazine specifically said of Letterman's hosting stint, it was a cranky skeptic who visits the high temple of show business, mocks the gold-plated statuary, and displays insufficient reverence for the gods. We know who the winner wasn't. Snap.
So Spin Magazine had that exact same verbiage, except for it was positive.
We know who the winner wasn't. Girl. I loved it, and I was fun to relive the idea that David Letterman once hosted the Oscars.
Just one time. He got one.
He was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that
Conan's
anymore."
getting a second time, and Dave only got one. Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, but I think Conan dances more than Dave. Conan has a desperate need for approval that David Letterman did not.
But it's funny that you say all that, but I didn't really think he did anything during that show that was super controversial or anything. He wasn't so the whole thing with Dave coming out of the 80s was he was mean, he was sarcastic, he joked about at his guest's expense. He did things like this. His bits were kind of rough around the edges.
Yeah,
I mean, he did things.
Patricks.
Well, yeah, but that was kind of one that was actually kind of popular. He did other stuff that was a little bit more kind of rough around the edges, I guess, for the 80s. Now it would be nothing. It'd be nothing now. But back then, I guess that was his thing. So everybody thought he was going to come on the Oscars and be mean to celebrities, and he just wasn't. I don't remember him being mean to any celebrities.
No, I don't think that he kissed anyone's ass at this. I don't think he showed the proper reverence that like a Billy Crystal or even like Whoopi did, who I think Whoopi Goldberg had hosted previous to that. Billy Crystal, his famously.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what they wanted. He's not a song and dance man. He's not going to go out there and do a reverie or anything like that.
No.
Hey,
no, but
it's Forrest Gump. It's like he's just not going to do that.
Neither is Conan, but he still, did his, I'm not going to waste time showstopper at the beginning of the deal. So.
Nobody's ever accused Conan of not taking all of Dave's lessons and making him better for him. No one's ever accused him of that. Even with the long form interviews now, he does the podcast instead of Dave doing the Netflix show, which has been way better for Conan's pocketbook, I would say. So no one's going to look at that and be like, okay, Conan once again takes Dave's thing and then, does a better job for the masses. Although, I don't know. I thought Conan was fine. I love Conan, so I'm not going to sit here and badmouth Conan.
No. We'll have an opportunity to do that if we want on another podcast.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
I don't think we should.
The Conan Hate podcast. That'd be popular.
This though, famously, and what you will soon see becomes a source of ire and frustration for our friend Stephen Koonce the Beard, is that Forrest Gump, 13 nominations, 6 wins, Pulp Fiction,
the greatest movie
only
made.
1 win was
since The Godfather, the greatest American movie made since The Godfather, got best screenplay.
Forrest Gump, 13 nominations. The wins that it received: Best Picture, Best Director,
that's right,
Actor,
yep,
Editing,
sure,
Writing Adapted,
right,
and the Visual Effects. Tom Hanks winning his second Oscar in consecutive years. Hadn't been done, I think, only 3 times before Mr. Hanks did it. Philadelphia was his winning role in the 94 Oscars.
And again, we're not going to get very far making light of Tom Hanks or talking about
No.
And we're children of the 80s, so we love Tom Hanks for a variety of reasons. But what he did the next year when he was or 2 years later, whenever it was that he did Castaway, and he pulled himself out of the race because he didn't want to take it away from someone else, was fucking ridiculous. Come on, Tom.
Why was that ridiculous? He was excellent in Castaway.
He should have won for Castaway. He would have won for Castaway. He should not have. I don't know that he should have won for this movie. We'll talk about it, but he
absolutely should have won for this movie.
Okay, him pulling himself out of the race for Castaway was an all-time slap it on the table moment.
Yes.
He was basically like, look,
here it is.
I'm going to win.
Here it is, boys.
Look, fuckers. I'm Tom Hanks. I was in Joe versus the Volcano. I'm winning this.
I was in Bachelor Party.
You guys may not remember me from Bosom Buddies. I was the gay one in 1980.
They were not gay. They needed a place to live, and they got a good deal, and they had to dress in drag.
That's what it was.
So get it right. Bosom Buddies. I have not. I wonder if it holds up.
Probably not.
I bet
it
not.
Doesn't. I mean, it holds up for me, but for you, probably not.
History remembers it being Forrest Gump versus Pulp Fiction. But before we're going to go into, I think I want to go like. I don't want to go. You started
the Yankees
this.
versus the Mets. I mean, for this particular,
we're gonna go categories. We're gonna go through the categories.
Yeah.
Too.
So I came up with some things for the categories where I was like, okay, there's winners and we're just going through the Oscars. We're not going through the technical Oscars. Is that correct?
Correct. Can we before we get into the the different categories and who deserved to win and whatnot? Ed Wood.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You want to talk about
Ed Wood? I want to talk about because I did not remember Ed Wood having like really being much, and it wasn't much of a contender during this Oscars, but it reminded me, and I really want to kind of go back and spend some time with Ed Wood because of a few things. Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi in his Oscar-winning performance for Best Supporting. It did win for Best Makeup. It was a complete flop in theaters. It did find a cult following later, but basically it featured Johnny Depp in like a star making, like really like solidifying Johnny Depp.
Oh, I mean, he was already pretty much a star.
But it was like
What's Eating Gilbert's Grape had already been out, and some other
Benny
also
and June?
21 Jump Street. I don't know if Benny and June was out quite yet.
This is it was the subject matter of Ed Wood. Is Ed Wood making what was called the worst film ever made in Plan 9 from Outer Space. Have you seen Plan 9 from Outer Space? Of course you have. I have too. It is gloriously terrible. It is that quote so bad it's good movies.
Yeah.
A lot like Amelia Perez. But it was like this movie, Bela Lugosi's final movie. He was, like a classic, iconic horror film star.
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi. He was Dracula. Was he Dracula?
A bunch of times. Yeah. Wolfman. He was all those guys. He was a Universal monster movie star.
He died.
Yeah.
In the middle of Ed Wood making this movie, Plan 9 from Outer Space. So what Ed Wood decided to do, rather than alter the course, they didn't have CGI or anything. They couldn't
They did not have CGI. Weta was not around.
So he had just this guy.
1939?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Yeah.
He had this guy just walk around with his cape over his face, not Bela Lugosi, because Bela Lugosi is dead. Mm-hmm. Just like a guy hiding his face for the rest of the movie.
This is the same thing we did when I shot a student film at Chapman way back when they were filming Bullwinkle, Rocky and Bullwinkle on our college campus, and we took some behind the scenes shots of Robert De Niro, and we plugged that into a movie, and then just had someone pretend to be De Niro the rest of the time, and it worked out really well.
That's
we
resourceful.
Got a B- on that one. So
that's
not
very
too
resourceful.
Shabby.
Well, you had the cameo. You had the De Niro cameo.
We had De Niro in there.
Bela Lugosi's son, by the way, did not like Ed Wood. He said that it was not historically accurate because Bela Lugosi never used profanity, and he never slept in a coffin.
Is that right? He never slept in.
He never did sleep in a coffin.
One time
he did. And
one could argue he spent more time sleeping in a coffin by now than he had not sleeping in a coffin.
The in memoriam section, by the way, just to bring it down
you did
a little bit.
A lot of research.
The in memoriam section.
I'm very proud of you right now. You have no idea.
Well, I always enjoy seeing all the dead people. Yeah, so
I do too, actually.
Before our next ad from stamps.com.
Oh no! Next is going to be Man Great. Did I already say that?
you said Man Great.
I'll think about
who died? Jessica Tandy died. Burt Lancaster.
Yeah.
Cab Calloway. Famous big band leader, and this I think the shocker, no one had it on their 1994 bingo card. Raul Julia,
and
died.
That's another rough one for last movie too. His last movie, do you know what it was?
Street Fighter. He was. He was.
There's a theme here.
Well,
he played the bad guy, M. Bison. He was M. Bison.
M. Bison? Is that the guy?
Yeah.
M. Bison.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't Blanca. I know he wasn't Blanca.
No, he wasn't Blanca. There was a Blanca. They did it. That movie really sucks.
That movie was so terrible.
That might be a movie we do for sucky movies, because that one is a real classic suckfest.
We could do
especially
that one.
Based on the IP that they were given. They really screwed the pooch on
We could do that one. We could do Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
as
Kombat
well.
is actually not bad. I would sit here and tell you Mortal Kombat, the first one, not bad. Not terrible.
There was more than one.
Oh, God. They've made
Mortal Kombat?
6 of them, maybe?
Veronica Vaughn was in Mortal Kombat.
Veronica Vaughn was in Mortal Kombat. She played Sonya.
So, do we want to get into... let's say I'm checking the time real quick. I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
I think so far.
I can't see the timer from here, so I don't know. But I'm sure we're doing fine.
Murphy, do you have anything to add?
No, he's chilling. Yeah, he's chilling. He's like, I'm probably going to start in on this hole again. And Larry is staring at a bird.
He's looking at a bird. We're in good shape here.
So basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to break this down into a few things. So we don't have, how many categories are we looking at here? Was it 12 or something, or 14 or 15 or something like that?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like a 14 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
yeah, sure.
I broke it down into things for me, winners that make sense, winners that make less sense, and then basically out and out mockeries of the film industry.
You did, and most of them are out and out mockeries.
This was a bad year for the Academy. I felt
most of them are out and out mockeries. So
I did not feel that they hit this one out of the park, so to speak.
You have many thoughts on this, and I'm going to follow your lead as though I were the color commentator.
Oh wow!
Regarding the play-by-play of the 1995, who won and who should have won, and why our friend the Beard is outraged.
Really quick, honor amongst thieves, whoever makes this thing, this is just a mess.
It is really. It looks like sage.
And I have.
It looks
more.
like.
I think I have 2 more of these, and
So
at one point I was like, "This is a
framed.
good stick. I'm buying a bunch of them." And so it does taste good. It just is a kind of a mess. The wrapper's a little bit of a mess. That ends the cigar portion of the
second half. Of the it's a cigar check-in.
All right, so I'm just going to start with. Oh, there go your notes. Now we're scrolling. Oh, geez, the whole thing is falling apart.
Well, we got wind now. We had a wind situation.
That is going to happen in
my
Idaho.
notes, and now
so
I've
I'll cover for you real nicely here. So the winners that make sense for me, and I kept going back to this because I just hadn't seen a couple of the movies or. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to, I had a little fact as well for it. The best worst fact of this Oscars, or that came from this Oscars, is that the movie Speed has more Oscars than Pulp Fiction. Okay.
Well,
and none of those Oscars went to like any of the actors. They didn't go to the bus. They didn't go to anything that maybe should have deserved an Oscar, but they went for sound and sound editing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm having trouble. I can't. Okay, if Jurassic Park is on this year, fine. But Jurassic Park should have won those anyway, right?
It might have been for a previous year. I would have thought that Jurassic Park would have gotten more noms. So maybe I'm mistaken in its involvement in the 94-95 Oscar contention year. But yeah, Murphy said it was 93
because it's the same year as Schindler's List. Jurassic Park.
Was it
I think
really?
Is the next year. Yeah, he did the 2 movies the same year.
He did Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same
time.
year?
Yeah.
That
he did
doesn't
them the same
seem
time. Steven Spielberg, he's a stud.
He's the GOAT.
So anyway, winners that make sense to me in this are actor. Okay, so I'm with you on Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Actress, I guess. I never saw Blue Sky. I like my Tommy Lee Jones, old and mean, not old and horny. So I'm not watching that movie. So original screenplay, that was Pulp Fiction. So that one fine. Foreign language, which actually I get to foreign language later. That's not one actually. God damn.
Well, there's a dog over there.
I know.
There's a dog. There's 2 dogs actually. There's 2 dogs over there.
It's time there are 2 over there. So I need to amend my list. My list was not amended from when I went back and looked at it. So the short doc is fine, short film fine, animated, of course, Lion King, which I don't actually think Lion King won. I don't think they had an animated. They had a short animated, but they didn't have a movie, a feature.
Back then they didn't have animated feature?
No, I don't think so.
I think
they
you're
put
right.
it in after the Lion King, I think, because it was so egregious that the Lion King did not win.
The best song did feature in the best song category. It did feature "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," Hakuna Matata, and "Circle of Life."
I know it was a crazy loaded lineup. Music, song, sound effects. Sound effects is fine for Speed. I'm fine with Speed getting 1. Makeup, costumes, and visual effects. All those things I thought were fine.
You're good, so we don't even need to. You agree?
I mean, unless you
with
disagree
those
on
ones.
any of them. If you don't like any of them, then we can go back and talk to them. But I can't really. I'm not going to sit here and argue about makeup and costumes because. I mean, I had like a short little thing on it where this is what with makeup and costumes. I think it was like, what was it like? The Madness of King George and something else, some other like Madness of King George and Bullets Over Broadway or something like that.
Bullets Over Broadway.
It was 2 films that this is what the Oscars used to do. If you made a period piece back then, you got the Oscar for best costume. That was pretty much it. And I think my argument on that and the winner that makes less sense and moving kind of that category is art direction. The Madness of King George one. And if this was classic, like movie that nobody saw, I don't even remember. I guess it's about the madness of a king named George. If I had to put it out there,
it seems like kind of a stretch, but
yeah,
I'll go with you. This is the film expert.
But like one of my least favorite tropes that the Oscars always did was this thing where they would just give the statuette to whoever did a period piece, preferably in the 1800s or the 1700s, something where people wore frills. Every time. I mean, it was just, you can go down the list and you'll find a bunch of them.
There was Little Women was nominated because Winona got a Winona.
Yeah, your girl?
Winona Ryder.
Winona.
Sorry.
Was Winona in there?
Winona was not in Little Women, but that didn't make it so much.
So.
I never saw The Madness of King George. I don't know anything about it, but I do like the idea of sassy vampires winning something.
But yeah,
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire, right. So Interview the Vampire, also a period piece, also frilly neck frills.
Oh, yeah.
But it takes place in turn of the century New Orleans, which way cooler of a place than England at any time.
Brad Pitt,
Tom Cruise, Kirsten Dunst.
Weirdly,
who else is
Kirsten
in there?
Dunst. And
Antonio
Sabato.
No, not Sabato. The other one.
Banderas?
Antonio
Banderas was in that?
Yeah, sure.
Who was the interviewer? Was that Christian Slater?
Christian Slater. I mean, come on. So that one I thought was a little iffy. I thought sound. The only reason why I don't think Speed should have won for sound is because it should not in any world have the same amount or more Oscars than Pulp Fiction.
You're just punishing Speed.
Yep.
On behalf of Pulp
1000%.
Fiction. I remember seeing Clear and Present Danger, which was also nominated. I saw it in the movie theater with my friend Guy Green. I don't think I understood the plot, but I thought the explosions sounded cool. So I would give it to. If you don't want to give it to Speed, I'll give it to Clear and Present Danger. Again, Harrison Ford.
I feel like you're limiting yourself to what was nominated. Because I would actually give it to Shawshank Redemption. I thought the sound in that was amazing.
Well,
I thought it was just an awesome movie anyway. And it had all these, like, especially when he was like, hitting the thing with the rock hammer at the same time as the, there's just things like that I think. Speed, fine. I love Speed. It's a great movie.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Not as good as 2. I mean, we can all agree on that.
I did not see 2. Jason Patrick on a cruise ship.
On a cruise ship. That thing can't go under 55 miles an hour.
You have thoughts on foreign film, actually, that I am impressed by.
So this is, thanks, Burnt by the Sun wins. So this was back in the day when foreign film, the nominations came from the country. So each country only got one slot. So France had put in with someone else. I think it was Peru or someone like that, where they put some movie in instead of the really, really amazing Peter, like I was talking about before, Sobocinski's. I think it's Sobocinski's. He did this 3-color series, red, white, and blue, about the French Industrial Revolution. Tell me if I've said this already before. Anyway, this is like akin to, remember when Lord of the Rings came out and it was like, the first one came out and was nominated for a bunch of stuff and didn't win. Then the second one came out, which was a better movie than the first one and a better movie than the third one.
Yes.
And was nominated for a bunch of stuff and didn't win.
Yeah.
And then the third one came out and won everything.
And they're like,
right?
it's gotta win.
Because they did. This is the same thing. Sobocinski did the same thing with Red, White, and Blue. He made these epic movies. They were all like 2.5 hours long, which back then was long, and they were all just amazing. The acting was amazing. Each one, white, blue, and red. They both had tonal colors throughout the whole movie of, you can guess it, white, red, and blue.
Sure.
And they were really, really, really awesome movies.
They sound.
I can't tell you how many times.
Like the most boring trilogy that could possibly be, except for The Matrix.
Maybe, The Matrix. Maybe they are boring, but damn it, they were good.
Okay.
And they should have won.
Okay.
He should have won at least best foreign film. If they would have came out today, he probably would have won best picture overall. But back then, I do think it should have been Red. And I would even put that as like a borderline mockery.
I think it's a bold statement.
And then I'm going to go against you a little bit because I know you're such a fan of Ed Wood, but Martin Landau winning for Ed Wood was a magical moment. It was something that I wouldn't want to erase from my mind. He was great. It was amazing that he won, but come on. He should have won. That one, we could have just said, okay, Martin Landau, guess what? Nice job. We're going to give it to, John Turturro for Quiz Show. He's awesome in that movie.
He was great in that movie. Also good in Severance.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus, is what I say. I think Gary Sinise could have won for that movie.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan for Forrest Gump. I think that would have been fine too. I think
Samuel L. Jackson, yeah.
I think they gave it, I don't know, but Samuel L. Jackson played Samuel L. Jackson. I thought he was great, but I mean, Oscar. I don't know if it's an Oscar. But Gary Sinise, John Turturro, either one of those guys wins, I'm happy. I think even Ving Rhames, if he would have been nominated, would have been great. He was awesome in that movie. But back then, they did not give you Oscars for the stuff that poor Ving Rhames had to go through in that movie. And then if they would have just waited a couple of years for Brokeback to come out, then maybe he would have won.
Then you get a whole new appreciation for the Gimp.
Exactly. So I think that John Turturro, really, either him or Gary Sinise, probably, and then Martin Landau could have won, because I think they do this sometimes where they just give a best supporting to someone who maybe is a little older. And just a couple years later in Good Will Hunting, he was great.
He was fantastic in Good Will Hunting.
Could have totally won for that movie, and then we could have had that same moment.
No. He was in Rounders.
Wait, did I say Good Will
You
Hunting?
said Good Will Hunting.
Oh, Rounders.
I was with you, though.
You're right. Rounders.
I was with you on that.
Yeah.
But he was in Rounders.
Professor.
Not a good movie.
Rounders?
I mean,
Well, let's just all calm down.
from what I understand from the poker playing community, not like it doesn't really hold up in terms of like poker accuracy, but Matt Landau, fantastic in Rounders.
Rounders.
For sure. Ed Norton, by the way, fantastic in Rounders.
I love Rounders.
We should watch Rounders.
I am in the
Let's
poker.
stop the podcast.
I feel like I'm sort of in the poker community, and I love Rounders.
Are you in the poker community?
I'm not that good.
Have you gone all in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I want to move on because I like your thoughts on adapted screenplay as well. This one going to from the book by Winston Groom, which I have not read.
Everybody's read that.
I have not read it.
Are you talking about the Forrest Gump book?
Forrest Gump. Yeah. Adapted screenplay
Kind of
went
amazing.
to Forrest Gump.
So this is a curveball. This category is always sort of weird because oftentimes things are adapted from books or from short stories or stuff that we have never heard of at all. I would say that, Quiz Show was one that was in this category. Quiz Show was an amazing movie and I don't think won any awards that year. And this would have been the perfect place to put Quiz Show. Now, this happens every year too. Some movie is put in that's really good that doesn't win. Conclave happened to be the movie this year. And this year for 1994, 95, whatever it was, this was Quiz Show.
Quiz Show was real good.
I would tell you it was a fantastic film, awesome acting, awesome direction by Robert Redford. Northern Exposure. Great. Everybody was great in this movie. It was fantastic. It was all up on the screen. But good God Almighty, Shawshank Redemption should have won this. Shawshank Redemption should have won this and frankly, there should have only been like one nomination. And it should have been Shawshank Redemption.
It's just been like, yo, we're going to give this to Shawshank. I have read, as a Stephen King fan, I have read all 87,000 pages of The Stand. I will give it to Shawshank all day and all night. I have not read Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, but I've got it on my queue. Stephen King only has, 9 million books that he has. He's prolific. Out and out mockeries of cinema. Yeah. Dun dun dun.
You can tell I'm not only am I modest about this, but I'm also being careful not to step on anyone's toes here at the Academy.
We don't want to be blacklisted by Hollywood.
Yeah, no, yeah, Lord knows. So yeah, I think that ship has done sailed. So okay. These are out. This particular, we chose this to let you guys in a little bit on this one. We chose this Oscars because it is the one where both of us have I think from the past, 30 years or whatever it's been. This is the one where both of us have the most sort of strong opinions. And not only that, but we've been talking about this for a long time, like 20 years we've been talking about this.
So now we're just
putting it on tape for all of you guys to hear. And I'm going to start low with this one because I don't want to get into the rough stuff until a little bit later. So I'm going to start with Best Documentary.
Go gentle.
I don't even know what won for Best Documentary. 9 years out of 10, I don't care what wins for Best Documentary unless it's a documentary that I've seen and it's a documentary that I like. And I like documentaries. But this year, there was a documentary that came out that was probably one of the most influential documentaries ever made, and that is Hoop Dreams.
It was all over MTV, because this is back in the heyday of MTV, but it was in the news of our 14, 15-year-old world. It was Murphy loved it. It was it's not something that I saw.
Might be time for Murphy to go inside.
But I'm well familiar with Hoop Dreams. Did you watch the film?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I've seen it probably 10 times.
It's about people who have dreams of hula hooping.
Yeah. So it's about these two guys in Chicago that are both basketball stars, I guess, in middle school or high school, whatever it is they start. And it just follows their career through high school and to getting to college and everything. And it's a awesome movie because it was the kind of first film that showed what this was like for people that were maybe not, I don't think either one of them made it to the NBA or anything, but they both got scholarships to college and they were both in a pretty rough neighborhood in Chicago. And I think that the reasons why this wasn't nominated and the reasons why it didn't win ultimately are pretty obvious. And that is that the Academy are firm, on football. They love football. They don't like basketball.
Where you were going with this.
They don't like high school basketball, and they feel like football is the better sport. Which what? I'm not going to sit here and argue that point.
They're Knicks fans. I think that's safe to say that anything Chicago basketball related is going to be a tough sell because the Academy clearly Knicks and Celtics.
I feel like this movie was directed by Hype Williams. I don't know if that's true or not. Someone can correct me. Maybe it wasn't. But
I'll put it in the comments. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. But Hoop Dreams, I would even say that's a movie that it's never been on TNT, but if it did pop up on TNT, that is a movie that I would watch again and again, I think.
Now I do not think that I understand what cinematography is, much less to have an opinion as to why the situation here is Legends of the Fall as the winner was an all-in-out mockery.
Total curveball. First of all, this movie is 3 hours long, and
they all are now.
Yeah, I mean, back then 3 hours was a kind of reserved for really, really awesome. This movie was just Brad Pitt with his shirt off, running around a river, or was that River Runs Through It,
bro?
Or was it?
That might have been River Runs Through It.
What's the other one? Meet Joe Black. Which one was it?
Shirtless Brad Pitt was all over the 90s. This was
shirtless Brad Pitt at his best. It was a very long movie with Anthony Hopkins. It was supposed to be this thing. It was supposed to be the movie that was going to sweep all the Oscars. But here's the thing: it was boring. And it was just Brad Pitt with his shirt off and Anthony Hopkins yelling at him. And I think there was a pretty well-known actress in there. I can't remember. Maybe Juliette Binoche or someone like that.
I think it was Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge was in it. She's like, Brad. But this is an out-and-out mockery simply because the movie sucks. It's just not that good of a movie. Pulp Fiction.
There we go.
Yeah, here we go. Pulp Fiction, from beginning to end, is shot beautifully. It takes people that are sort of movie stars and puts them in a world where they look amazing. It has really nice depth of field visuals. It reminds one of Citizen Kane. It reminds one of any of the movies, any of the best shot movies, The Godfather, that have ever been done. The cinematography in Pulp Fiction is above and beyond any of the other movies even nominated, and it's really weird that Wyatt Earp was also nominated in here. It's not that weird if you think about it. It's not that weird if you think about it because Unforgiven had just won a couple years ago.
Yeah, and Dances with Wolves in
Dances with Wolves just won. And
I will say this: I'm very glad. I don't care, by the way, about who wins or not. So give it to Brad Pitt in historical Western drama, sure.
Well, my winner for that is actually Shawshank Redemption.
Well, yeah, I'm with that
because Shawshank, even though Pulp Fiction was really great, most of it is interior. The Academy's never going to give an Oscar for a mostly interior movie. Shawshank, being a movie about jail, is surprisingly outside a lot.
Well, yeah, they got to walk around the yard,
and they walk around
and send Wataneo.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just glad they did not give it to Wyatt Earp because that was clearly the inferior mid-90s Earp theme film.
Yeah, Tombstone.
Tombstone.
We know. You're from Tucson. You have to love it. And yes. I lived in Tucson, so I love it by proxy.
Yes, you do. I will.
Shout out to Mark Bateman for taking me to Tombstone a bunch of times.
Shout out to Mark Bateman. You know what? This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Flickos in Tucson.
Yeah, that's right.
If you want, I don't know if Mark still has that. If you want to transfer all your VHSs into a DVD format,
yep, he'll do it.
Go to Flickos. Use the promo code WTF.
Yep.
I do agree with you. I will give you editing. I will absolutely give you editing as an out and out mockery.
I'm just gonna be quick about this. Forrest Gump winning for editing is amazing in many, many different ways. There's 6 edits in that whole movie. There's no scenes really. It's just basically sketches.
They had to put Forrest Gump in the White House talking to Lyndon Baines, showing his booty to Lyndon Baines Johnson.
That's special effects. Pulp Fiction. They took the movie Pulp Fiction, which could have been from beginning to end. They put it in a blender. Then they taped it all back together. And the editor on that movie was such a star editor. And to not win for this film is just, it makes me so mad. And I really just can't say how mad I am that I remember being mad watching that Oscars thinking Pulp Fiction has got to win for editing. And then it's Forrest fucking Gump.
The fact that
Pulp Fiction should have won.
the genre that was inspired, like the like Tarantinoing the time frame, like the timeline, like jumping all around, like the fact that they did that in a cohesive way is just ridiculous. That did not win for editing.
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense now. It didn't make sense then. It's one of the it's even still, if Forrest Gump is on my TV somewhere, I'm watching it thinking, this one for editing, unbelievable. And jeez,
Murphy agrees.
Put those dogs inside.
Murphy agrees.
He's really being a jerk today.
Supporting actress, you got beef with Diane Wiest.
The incomparable Diane.
The incomparable Diane Wiest.
So look, I don't have any problems with her. I don't have any problems with Bullets Over Broadway. Great movie. Woody Allen at his finest. Awesome movie. But come on, Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman, not only did she steal all of Pulp Fiction, she stole the movie, but the poster, everything. I mean, she became famous because of this movie.
Yes. And inspired many a Halloween costume.
And she was amazing. She was every bit that character. You didn't even see, you wouldn't have even known who Uma Thurman was after that, because she was, Beatrix, or no, she wasn't Beatrix. She was whoever she, Mrs.
I'm gonna leave you hanging. I don't know where you're going with this.
Well, she was the the mobsters. I'm gonna cut all this out.
Oh, Mia Wallace.
She was Mia Wallace.
She's Mia Wallace.
Yeah.
Don't cut it out. We saved it.
She was Mia Wallace.
She was the
whole movie.
Mrs. Mia Wallace.
She was Mrs. Mia Wallace.
Very good.
She was amazing.
She was amazing in it.
She had killers. She was a brand new actress. She was up against John Travolta for all of her scenes, basically, and she was amazing. It's just unbelievable.
She also had to put up with Ethan Hawke for a lot of her life. So
she did have to put up with Ethan Hawke.
Diane Wiest, by the way, had. We're gonna cut this out because I had a cough.
Incomparable.
The incomparable Diane Wiest already had won.
Oh, she did?
For a Woody Allen movie. She won for Hannah and Her Sisters.
No kidding.
So she already had her Woody Allen Oscar. She didn't need this one. It belonged to Uma or Oprah. But I do want to. Can we shout out a fellow nominee in this category? Mm-hmm. I don't think that she should have won, but also from Bullets Over Broadway. Can we just take a moment for 1990s Jennifer Tilly?
Oh yeah.
I mean, just real quick.
We can.
1990s Jennifer Tilly.
I'll take several moments.
Liar.
Yeah, Liar.
I think she was in Bound with Gina Gershon.
Bound. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
The Wachowskis.
Yeah. Bound was great. She was great in that too. One of the Charlie movie, or one of the Chucky movies. She was the bride of Chucky.
She was the Chucky.
Yeah.
And then later on Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy.
Jennifer Tilly. One of the greats.
Out. Yeah, she is. And so, congratulations, Diane Wiest. Whatever. Bullets Over Broadway is great, but Uma should have won this award. It's not even close. So then we get to Best Director. And look, I love Robert Zemeckis. I really do. I love all the Back to the Future movies, even the third one. I like them all. They're all great.
Agreed.
I love Romancing the Stone. I love both of those movies as well.
Castaway?
Castaway's great.
Yeah.
I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Awesome movie. Amazing movie.
Yeah, agreed.
Forrest Gump winning for Best Director is like if whoever would have been up against Francis Ford Coppola for either The Godfather or for Apocalypse Now, just winning. I can't believe Robert Zemeckis went up and accepted. Honestly.
He should have had enough shame to have stayed in his seat when he won.
He should have pulled Tom Hanks and said, "No, I'm taking myself out." Because what Quentin Tarantino did, you talked about it earlier, what Quentin Tarantino was able to do with Pulp Fiction was he basically just changed all of cinema right there as it was happening. There were movies in the 90s that ripped off, both Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, but Pulp Fiction, as it stands, is now, I think, God, it's got to be one of the top 5 American movies ever made.
It really is.
Forrest Gump.
It's one of the best movies ever.
Forrest Gump's fine. We're not here to talk about how bad Forrest Gump is, because it's a great movie, but it is not as good as Pulp Fiction. And Robert Zemeckis winning for this is an out-and-out mockery of cinema.
Here's my compromise. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's give this one to Tarantino so that, Forrest Gump can win Best Picture as it rightfully
No, I got something
deserved.
for that too. It's not going to happen. I don't think so. No,
you're not going to accept my compromise.
You know what? I think it's great that Zemeckis was invited. And I think it's great that I don't know. I don't think he won for Castaway. I don't remember if he did or not. I guess we can get to that sometime later.
That'll be a different episode. You have to stay tuned.
Yeah, spoiler. So I just think that when you have something like Pulp Fiction and you have something like Forrest Gump, you have to look at, if you're the Academy, which one of these movies is actually pushing cinema forward. And Forrest Gump was a bunch of sketches put together by a guy sitting on a bench with some lady who thought she was getting kidnapped the whole time.
He had his new shoes. Mm-hmm. They were comfortable. Yeah. He had his box of chocolates. It was really innovative in its ability to put Forrest Gump into these different scenarios. It was really cool the way that he was able to talk to John Lennon and talk to John F. Kennedy, where he must have had about 15 Dr. Peppers. I'd shown his butt to Lyndon Baines Johnson. I've seen they exhumed Dick Cavett and put him in the movie.
Exhume him?
They did, yeah. He was dead. They brought him back to life. That's pretty zombie Dick Cavett.
That's pretty good direction.
In Forrest Gump.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I overlooked that.
So that takes us to Best Picture.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see where I'm going here. So when you look at the Best Picture category, I could argue that two other movies that were nominated should have won, and one other movie should have been in the mix. So Quiz Show, I thought probably was better.
It was great.
I think
Richard Van Doren.
I think that Shawshank Redemption was better.
Yeah.
I know that Shawshank Redemption was better. And then The Lion King. The Lion King was in this mix, and The Lion King wasn't even nominated for Best Picture, which is insane. The Lion King was not just probably the best animated feature that Disney had ever done to that point, but culturally, it was so inspiring that we're still talking about the fucking Lion King right now. It's on Broadway. They just did a movie that was a live Lion King. Now they've just done a prequel.
I think they did a prequel, Lion King prequel. We love the Lion King. The Lion King is engraved in our DNA. The Lion King should have received more of its propers.
It just didn't.
This
it's
year.
It's going to be one of those things that we're going to look at and we're going to say, what happened with these great animated movies were just tossed aside like they were nothing. And this movie is culturally significant. And still, Pulp Fiction won. Let's just go through this real quick to everybody out there. Pulp Fiction won the Palme d'Or. Pulp Fiction won almost every Critics' Choice Award. Almost all, especially from the main ones, Chicago, LA, New York, won all those. It won a million other awards leading up. It won, I think, WGA. It won a bunch of other awards.
Do you remember Quentin Tarantino's acceptance speech at the 1995, I guess, movie awards, MTV Movie Awards?
I do not.
Where he got so he received because John Popper was there.
Okay.
And this is like the high. This is like we just learned about Blues Traveler, and John Popper would go around handing out harmonicas to everybody. So Quentin Tarantino accepted his award with his harmonica that he received from John Popper. He said, "Pop quiz, hotshot. Mm-hmm. You go to every big award show because he didn't win the Globes, he didn't win the other ones.
Yeah.
He says you keep losing to Forrest Gump. What do? You go to the MTV Movie Awards." So he got his MTV Movie Award. What more do you want?
I mean, one could argue that MTV at that time was probably more in tune with what was going on culturally than the
Without
Academy.
a doubt.
Because the Academy at that time, people think the Academy now is old. Oh, no. The Academy in the 90s were some of the motherfuckers that had names like Metro Golden and all these Warner. There were definitely Warners in the Academy at this time.
There were Warners.
There
was a mayor.
There were tons of mayors.
A mayor there.
This was an Academy that was, every time they would haul out the president of the Academy, they'd have to wheel him in and prop him up, and he would sit there and go, "I want to thank PricewaterhouseCoopers." This was old ass Academy. They did not have anybody that I can remember. Maybe Sidney Poitier was there, but they didn't have anyone else of color. They didn't have anyone that was below the age of 50. They now they're trying to incorporate more younger members of the Academy. They're getting more WGA people, more Producers Guild people. Back then, it was not that. It was old ass actors, old ass producers, and old ass agents and old ass studio heads. Those were the people that made up the Academy, and that is why Pulp Fiction did not win. And I'd put that MTV award up against anything from those years because MTV was actually culturally significant
in the 90s. It was big. It was real big. I have to say this about Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks. The soundtrack.
Tom
Life
Hanks?
is Like a Box of Chocolates. Bubba. Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
The creepy CGI. But last but not least, the greatest villain in cinematic history in goddamn Jenny, who is the worst person to ever grace the silver screen. She is selfish. She is vile.
You know what?
She is a user.
I'm so happy that we're talking about
She's
this.
a predator.
Finally, something I want to talk about. She's a predator. What she does to Forrest.
Yeah.
Forrest is not able to understand what he's doing.
He's not a smart man, the beard, but he knows what love is.
I don't know what he does. Because he keeps following this bitch around, and all she does is continue to fuck him over. And then in the end, she probably, we don't know for a fact, but she probably gave him AIDS. I mean, let's face it.
They don't really address that. She died from HIV.
Well, okay,
AIDS.
there's been some pushback on that.
She had a virus, and there's no cure for
Well,
it.
I've seen some interviews with Zemeckis and with some of the other people, and Tom
Whatever
Hanks.
it is, he's trying to damage control.
That
but go
said
ahead.
it was hepatitis. Yeah,
hepatitis?
They tried to say it was
needles
hepatitis.
and stuff,
They tried
from when
to
she
say it was
was
hepatitis. It wasn't hepatitis.
from when she was freebirding in the disco hotel room with all the guys and their needles and track marks and stuff.
It wasn't hepatitis.
No,
Let's
it
just
was
be
not.
clear, because that movie
You heard it
makes
here first.
That movie makes zero sense if it's hepatitis. That movie makes less sense if it's hepatitis.
It's 1,000%.
1,000%
AIDS.
HIV.
AIDS.
Yeah, and
AIDS.
you know that sucks, but that's what
does.
happened.
You know what? It does.
And she still had unprotected sex with our boy Forrest.
Yeah, it was not. I don't know that there was consent.
No, there couldn't have been.
There could not have
He
been.
was not able to give consent.
So I mean, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works.
As Harvey would say, my 9-year-old.
Yeah, what would your 9-year-old say?
She was sus.
Oh, wow.
Jenny was 1,000% sus.
Oh, she's the reason. It should be called Jenny, not sus. Like that's the word.
It should be like
the word.
bro,
That's Jenny.
That's real Jenny.
That's real Jenny.
She was a terrible human, and therefore she contributed to the passion for that movie. She certainly, gave a balance to the heart and soul of that movie, which was Tom Hanks's portrayal of Forrest Gump in a way that, as Robert Downey Jr. would elaborate on in Tropic Thunder, just the way that he chose to portray that. You can't go full special if you watch it in the if you watch it on FX. He says you don't go full special.
That's not what he says on my copy.
That's not what he says on the DVD.
So that's interesting, and it brings up another thing too, which is these movies both. Okay, so since we're over with the out and out mockeries and everything,
yeah.
So these movies, both of them, have an interesting sort of, I would say, dynamic in that neither one of them really have a bad guy, right? So in Pulp Fiction, I mean, John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson are bad guys.
They're bad guys.
But they're not the bad guy. They're not the antagonists of the movie.
No,
the movie doesn't really have an antagonist.
Maybe Zed.
Yeah, Zed's dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, he does.
Zed is
one of the probably the worst of
he's
of all
an antagonist
the bad guys.
for Bruce Willis, but he's not, and also for Ving Rhames.
Really for Ving Rhames, for sure.
Depending on how you look at it.
I mean, I would look at it like
antagonist.
Yeah.
So
and Ving Rhames was antagonized.
Pulp Fiction, I would say you're right. Jenny is the antagonist for me as well, but really doesn't have a bad. The antagonist is sort of society. Is it a mirror?
Yeah.
situation?
Is it war? Is it the South? He did play for Alabama. I mean,
yeah,
Roll
he played
Tide.
for Alabama, Roll Tide. So I don't know if it's the South. I don't know if it's society, but it doesn't. Neither one of these movies have a bad guy. Whereas Quiz Show definitely had a bad guy. Shawshank had a bad guy. Had a couple of bad guys.
Was Van Doren, was Ralph Fiennes the bad guy in?
Oh yeah, definitely
in Quiz Show, but he was our guy. Like he was the guy that we followed along, and he was conflicted. He was a morally conflicted character.
Yeah, he was, but he was definitely the bad guy because he was fixing the show, right? Wasn't
well,
that what he was doing.
So if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Rosie Perez also awesome in that movie. Rosie Perez had a really nice string. Like she was in White Men Can't Jump,
yes.
And then she was in Quiz Show, and I think she was in one more movie.
Oh, she was married to Turturro, right?
Turturro's wife,
yes.
Yeah. And like I said before, Turturro is he's great in that movie. He's so good, and he's good in every movie, but he's really good in that one. So yeah, I think it's interesting that both Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump were kind of antagonistically challenged in that they didn't really have a bad guy.
I like that.
But I think they both work because of it too. I think because they're just stories of Pulp Fiction is a series of stories sort of going through one night or one day or whatever in these gangsters' lives. And then Forrest Gump is just the guy's whole story told to some captive on a park bench who thought that she was going to catch a bus.
Yeah, well, she was happy about it. She ended up being happy about it later. And then that old lady came in and she was like, "Oh, it's just 3 blocks over. You just run over. Oh, you were running."
There's a Saturday Night Live sketch where they all hang themselves or something. It was really funny.
Look, I absolutely love Pulp Fiction. I think that Pulp Fiction is, in hindsight, or at least now, fast forwarding 20 years, it's clearly the better movie.
Thank you for saying that.
But for the sake of getting through the past hour, I had to go. I'm Team Forrest Gump in terms of the Oscars.
Well, you have been
at the time.
Let's be fair. You've been Team Forrest Gump.
I am Team Forrest Gump.
So it's not something that's new.
I'm not hating. I'm not apologizing for Forrest Gump. I think it is an achievement.
I'm not trying to hate on Forrest Gump either. I'm just hating. It's more about the Academy, I think, at this point than it is about Forrest Gump, because it's true. The Academy back then was wild. It was just they were doing all sorts of stuff, and we'll get to some other the '90s ones because we really like '90s movies, and I think that now you're seeing an Academy that's gone maybe too far the other way, because movies that are doing well at the box office are almost being shunned. They're not getting in. Like none. I don't think any of the movies that won this year were top 10.
Your Red Hulk is not going to be seen in next year's Oscars.
I don't know. Or Harrison Ford could get a nomination.
He might.
He's really good.
So that takes us we're about an hour into this discussion.
I've said all I've had to say.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Anything about the '95 Oscars?
Any final thoughts on on our inaugural episode of the Hollywood Humidor?
Yeah, my cigar sucked.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah, but you know what? It's fine. I've got other ones. I've got other ones of the same exact kind. I'd say that it was a spirited discussion. I don't think the majority of people will agree with me on a lot of this stuff, but I do think the majority of film nerds like me do already agree with this stuff.
I think you're right.
And are probably shouting at their Walkman or car or whatever they're listening to this on.
Yeah, they're on the Walkman.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
on a Walkman.
Yeah, you guys.
What I do is I tape it and then I put it on my Walkman. That's how I listen to podcasts.
You tape it in real time. So you have to play. You don't listen to it. You just let it play for the full 60 minutes, and then you go on your walk around the neighborhood with Larry and Murphy, and then you
wouldn't know
it.
But I did take them on an extra long walk today, so they would not be rambunctious. Larry understood the assignment. Murphy has been an out-and-out disaster.
So this is the podcast, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was history will determine whether or not this was the Forrest Gump or the Pulp Fiction of
hopefully
inaugural.
It's not the
podcast.
Quiz show. Poor quiz show.
But we're gonna try to do these on a semi-monthly basis.
Yeah, maybe 2 a month, something like that.
Sure.
And if that works out and we can do more, that's fine. Or if we do less, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter because we're really just doing this for ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. I think that my wife will listen to this.
She has told me she will not.
She might. No, she probably won't.
Yeah,
she might give me she might give it whatever a short is, like a reel or something.
She'll put us on 4 times.
I think it'll be a reel of whatever 30-second clip that she will tolerate.
Yeah, we'll do this.
And that'll be that. And then maybe my brother will listen. I don't know. I'll ask him.
That'd be good.
I don't know if he listens to the podcast.
Reconnect. Yeah, I don't know that. I know for a fact that nobody in my family will listen to this. And not only that, but I will tell them about it and they will still not listen to it. And I also know for a fact that your wife will definitely only watch, you're right, 30 seconds.
30 seconds of it. She's not even on social media. So.
She has told me she's not on social media.
We offered her the opportunity to be a guest and share her thoughts on she loves movies too. She loves movies.
Yeah, and she told me 1,000% no.
She said hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass.
Without even thinking about it, she said hard pass. We're gonna try to have some other guests. Maybe people we know. It may be people that we can find.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we're gonna try to get people on that are maybe we'll get a key grip on.
We should get a key grip.
A best boy.
We should get a key grip or a best boy for sure.
That's is what that's called. That's a callback. You
solid,
like that?
Solid.
Nice.
We're professionals.
We're getting there.
We don't. This doesn't sound professional because of the barking dog in the background, but we are professionals.
We can take a lot of that out.
Yeah, you did some of that Peter Jackson technology?
Yeah, we just need to get like room sound, and then I'll be able to go ahead and scrape that out, I think.
Okay, well, I'll have to stop mentioning Murphy.
We'll
then
get
when he barks.
We'll get wet.
All right.
Wet'll take care of it.
Well, that's that. Like and subscribe. Are there comments on podcasts?
Yeah, I think so.
Do we want to invite that? Or no?
Yeah.
All right.
Comment away. I don't care what you think.
Okay, fine.
Say whatever you want.
Be nice though. Because
I care what Chris thinks.
I'm fragile. I'm a fragile soul. But my cigar, my what was it called again?
Pledge?
It was a Pledge Apogee.
Okay.
Was really good. It's starting to run here at the end. I'm gonna finish it up.
Kind of weird there.
All
right, cool. Well,
we're
just
good.
want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody for checking us out.
Yeah.
We're going to be, I believe, hosted on Spotify. And so you can leave your comments and everything in the comment section. And we'll have an email up shortly that you can also reach out to us and tell us exactly how you feel about certain things. Like, if you love Forrest Gump, I want to hear from you because I welcome that noise.
He will yell at you. He absolutely will because, our buddy is grumpy.
I'm getting there.
All right.
I'm a little grumpy. Not right now. Pretty happy.
As always, stay classy.
This has been the Hollywood Humidor podcast. We sincerely apologize.